I never thought a quiet Saturday morning in my own kitchen would turn into a nightmare that nearly cost me everything. One moment I was sipping coffee watching my wife laugh in her pajamas. The next moment, a strange woman stormed into our home, called 911, and told the police 2 armed intruders had broken in. That's how fast peace can shatter 3 minutes from pancakes to survival mode. We had just moved into our dream house a month earlier, a renovated Craftsman on Oak Street with big old trees and the kind of calm you only read about in real estate ads. We worked ourselves raw to afford it double shifts, side hustles, every dime scraped together. That house wasn't just wood and nails. It was our reward, our sanctuary. So that morning, when the sun poured through the window and the smell of bacon and coffee filled the air, we felt like winners for once. My wife was singing off-key dancing while flipping pancakes, and I remember thinking, this is what life is supposed to feel like. Then came the voice. Not from the yard, not from the front door, but from directly behind me. A shrill, vinegar-soaked voice that cut right through the music. I turned, and there she was, standing in the archway of our kitchen like she owned the place. Mid-40s, messy blonde ponytail, cargo shorts, the human embodiment of a complaint letter. She had her phone up recording us like she'd caught 2 criminals mid-crime. "Your house," she laughed, pointing at our plates like we'd stolen the food. "This is my mother's house. You're squatters." Squatters. I had a deed upstairs, a mortgage that ate half my paycheck every month, moving boxes still in the garage, and the stranger was looking at me like I was vermin. My wife, God bless her, tried to stay calm. "Ma'am, you're trespassing. Please leave." But Karen, that's what I'll call her, just smirked and dialed 911, and what came out of her mouth was a death sentence disguised as a damsel in distress act. "Help me. I just found 2 people in my mother's house. They broke in. They're black. I think they're armed. Please hurry." Every word was a weapon. Broken in. Black. Armed. She knew exactly what kind of storm she was summoning. My blood ran cold because we weren't just dealing with a trespasser anymore, we were dealing with a lie designed to get us killed. The sirens grew louder. Red and blue lights flashed across the windows. I told my wife, "Don't argue with her. Stay calm. Show them the deed. No sudden moves." Imagine having to rehearse survival lines like that in your own kitchen. When the cops arrived, Karen played her part flawlessly, sobbing about her dead mother and pointing at us like we were the intruders. I had to fetch our paperwork with an officer's hand hovering near his gun. Even when the deed proved we were the legal owners, we didn't get an apology. Just a lecture to lock our doors and update our IDs. Karen stomped off shouting, "This isn't over," and I knew she meant it. That was the day the war began. A week later, we got a letter from a law firm. A cease and desist claiming we'd tricked her mother that the sale was invalid, demanding we vacate within 30 days. My stomach dropped. Suddenly, it wasn't just screaming, it was legal paper with a lawyer's letterhead. For a moment, I wanted to give up. I remember sitting at the table, letter in hand, whispering, "Maybe we should walk away. Maybe this house isn't worth it." It felt like quicksand, every move pulling us deeper. But my wife grabbed my hand, fierce and steady. "This is our house. We fought for it. We're not running." That snapped me out of it. We hired a lawyer, Mr. Chen, sharp suit, calm voice, the kind of man who makes chaos shrink. He read the letter, scoffed, and said, "This is intimidation. We'll fight it." Karen didn't stop at paperwork. Suddenly, my freelance business tanked overnight. Fake reviews calling me a scammer flooded in. Years of hard-earned reputation gone in hours. She wanted us ruined financially. We were living in siege mode, locks, double-checked cameras installed jumping at every car that slowed near our street. Then came the night we caught her on video in our backyard, can of spray paint in hand, creeping toward the house. We called 911, and this time the police saw it for themselves. Flashlights lit her up, the can hit the grass, and they cuffed her right there. For the first time, she wasn't just walking away smirking. She was dragged off, furious and screaming. But even jail didn't stop her. She weaponized bureaucracy next. Filed a historic preservation claim on our house, saying our renovations were illegal. She even convinced a few neighbors to back her up, calling us destroyers of neighborhood character. At the city hearing, we fought back with consultants and permits, and we won, sort of. They didn't strip the house, but they slapped it on a watch list, meaning every future repair had to crawl through red tape. It was victory poisoned with defeat. By then, I realized Karen wasn't just a bully. She was obsessed. And obsessions don't stop. Our lawyer and a private investigator started digging. That's when the real twist surfaced. Karen had forged her own mother's signature years earlier, taking out fraudulent loans against the house, stealing tens of thousands. That's why her mother cut her off, sold the place, disinherited her completely. Karen wasn't fighting for her mother's memory. She was fighting to erase her own crimes. Armed with copies of those forged documents, we set up a meeting. Karen swaggered into the conference room full of smugness, thinking we were coming to beg. Mr. Chen slid the paper across the table. Her face drained of color. That forged signature stared back at her like a death sentence. "We know what you did," my wife said quietly. "Your mother spared you from prison. We won't." Karen trembled. The bully who'd screamed in my kitchen was gone, replaced by a pale, shaking woman staring into the abyss. She signed a settlement agreeing to cut all contact, no more letters, no more harassment, no more games, or we'd hand everything to the DA. Her signature was jagged angry, but it was surrender. And just like that, the war ended. There was no champagne, no celebration, just silence, heavy and strange. Watching Karen walk out that door broken, I realized something bullies thrive until they're cornered by their own lies. And when that moment comes, when the mask cracks and they see themselves for what they are, it's not satisfying. It's just sad. Never underestimate how far entitlement will go, but never forget you fight back and you fight smart, because truth is the one weapon a liar can't outrun.